sometimes it generally like it makes me wonder, like, are people just so obsessed with how people look, like, are so like held back by thoughts of racism, which, mind you, I'm not saying that it's not real, but being so held back they can't appreciate something that just doesn't look like them. And that's on both sides. That could be that's from a racist point of view and someone who feels like they're being oppressed by a race. Like both of those things. It's like it just seems so like this so antiquated. And yeah, I don't understand it. Hey, what's up, nerd fan? This is your boy Gershon, and I want to say to all these comic book companies out here, on behalf of me and my channel, which is just me and my editor, Josue, just don't worry about representing me. When you make a character, just make a character to be well written, have great motivations, cool surrounding cast, and an awesome costume. That's what I'm looking for when it comes to like comics. I am not looking for myself. I do not need to be represented. That doesn't make any sense to me. These recently, I keep seeing this in comics. We need someone to represent the Black experience. We need someone. I need someone that looks like my kids. I need someone that looks like me. Why? You can't find value in someone who doesn't? Even if a person looks like you, how do they represent you? You don't live the same experiences. But because they look like you, they represent you? Stop. Stop. So I don't subscribe to that thinking. If you do, okay, that's it. That's you. But I don't receive a boost from Blue Marvel or Blade or Luke Cage. Those are awesome characters that I love to read. But they don't make me feel better as a person of African descent. That had nothing to do with that. That's my job. My job is to feel good about myself, to look in the mirror and feel good about that. I see a lot of people like, well, how can they know like what's possible? Like they need to see it. It's like, okay, but there are tons of black characters in a whole bunch of comics. So let's eliminate that. There are tons. So and I have videos about that, right? That's a big thing. That truth and lie about representation. That's what I'm talking about. A lot of people say there aren't any black characters. There aren't tons. Tons from all different groups. So you can check that video out because I don't want to go too much into that. I just want to just understand this thinking about, well, not understand, but just talk about this thinking of, if I don't see it, I can't be it. Really? Really? If they don't see a black person in a Batman costume, how can they know they can dress up? Because you have the right to dress up in a costume. Are you kidding me? Batman is also not the only hero that your kids can aspire to dress up as. But because you don't read comics and you don't know, or maybe you do, but you only appreciate certain characters, doesn't mean they can't dress up as anything else. Seriously? Come on. Like that's just, it's very odd to me because like my favorite superhero is Spider-Man. Obviously, we're talking about Peter Parker here because that's what I grew up reading. And I resonated with who he was. The character, not what he looked like. And I took value from that. And I think anyone can live it. How many people have been a teenager? How many people have maybe liked someone, didn't like them back? Maybe had a hard time with family, had a death in the family, struggled to do the right thing. Even when, isn't that everyone? That's not a black thing. That's not a white thing. That's a human thing. So shouldn't we let that dictate what we are delving into? Now, does that mean that I'm like, everyone should look the same? I'm not saying that because in the world, everyone doesn't look the same. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, shouldn't we just pay attention to who they are and not what they are? I know it's a foreign concept now, because the color of someone's skin is so important to whatever side, whether you're black, what people just like, it needs to look like this. It needs to be, no. And also, one character cannot encapsulate everyone's experience. So when people be saying, I need this to represent, what are you talking about, man? Like, are we saying the black, speaking specifically here, for the black experience, are we saying that it's the same everywhere you go? Is it the same in New York, same in the South, same in California, same in Africa, same in like the Caribbean? No, it isn't. So I'm actually kind of insulted sometimes that these companies think that like we're using this to represent the black experience. And you, I don't want to say what you should think because you know that's you. You're your own person. But you don't think it's kind of weird that they think they can create a character to represent everything about you, a whole group of people? You don't think that's kind of weird? And then you just accept it and be like, yes, this character, you know, we need someone that's gonna represent the whole. Like, for example, you have Static Shock. Static Shock is a great character. Dwayne McDuffie actually said, like, you know, these characters, like minorities, are not monolithic. We shouldn't be forced. He actually said it. They should not be forced to represent their entire race. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening right now. People are making characters and they're going like, this is for these people. And people going, I need that. Why? I don't need to be validated, especially by people who didn't think it was worth having me around in the first place. Why would I want to be validated by them? And that's a lot of these companies. Because a lot of these companies created these characters 20 years ago and are underutilizing them. They're not using them anymore. What does that say? They don't utilize the original characters they created that have real weight, but then go and make either race bent characters that literally are just this person but a different color, and then sell you on their skin color and go, because they look like you should feel like you belong. Really? Because that's all it takes? Is that really all it takes? It's more than disrespectful, right? Because I'm not a monolith. I know I don't have the same experiences as my neighbor next door. I didn't grow around liking the same thing, liking the same type of music as a lot of people who happen to look like me in the neighborhood that I grew up in. Does that make me less African? Doesn't, right? Because that's a genetic disposition. We can't help our skin color. No one, black, white people, that's something that you can't control. We can only control who we are and what we do. And when I read characters, this is what I'm looking for. Who are they? What are their motivations? Does it make sense for them to do what they do? That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. And if you really do indeed think there aren't enough characters that look like you can create some. They should create some. But if they're not, don't worry about it. Create your own. Or look at the people who are actively in the independent scene already doing it and give your money to them so they can survive and thrive. How about that? So this is something that it bothers me a bit, only because people seem to be hell-bent on seeing themselves because they like, we need the value. It's like, but that starts in here. That starts here. That doesn't start on the pages of a comic book or on the screen of a movie. But I guess where mainstream media fails, that's where parenting comes in. Because my mother didn't raise me like that. My mother raised me to understand the value in everything and everyone. Number one was myself. I had to be comfortable looking at myself in the mirror. Everything that I wanted to be, all the stuff that I read, all the art, whether it was made by someone who looked like me or not, I found something I can take what's good. I can just take what's good out of a bad situation if I needed to. I'm also aware of all the racism that had happened to people who looked exactly like me in the country which I'm living in right now. I understand that too. So I'm not saying like so somebody can't say, oh, this guy, you think that stuff isn't racist or blah. I just don't focus on it. When I'm looking at fictional stuff and fictional worlds, I just focus on that escape. That's what I want. That's how that's how it is. And I don't walk around every day with the specter of racism on my shoulder that stops me from being able to enjoy something as simple as reading a comic book and being able to share that with my son, whether it be Blade, Spider-Man, Iron Fist, or Luke Cage, finding value in all of them. And then me being a writer myself, creating my own characters, some of which look like me, some of which of them don't, and just finding value. And that's it. You don't have to agree with me, and that's okay. I hope that we can still bond over our love of fictional work, comic books, anime, and manga. I hope we can still do that. We don't have to agree with that. But that's just what I was thinking when it came to this. And yeah, I think that's it. I think that's really all I have to say about that. I mean, hopefully I articulated that well. This is just what I was feeling in the moment. All right. So just honestly, like what you like, and find value in yourself, because you are valuable. And you don't need anything fictional. You don't even need you don't even have to aspire to a real person. Like, another person's success doesn't dictate you either. Like, you don't even have to look at someone else and go like, oh well, they look like me, so that should be something. You're valuable. That's it. Find value in yourself. Do your thing. But yeah, enter the nerd.